2. Welcome back. We are here for Masters Week, live from Augusta. Let's go. We are here, boys. We made it to the first major of the season. Cannot wait for this one. Obviously, big news out of the world today with Tiger Woods officially announcing he will be playing this week, planning on teeing it up as of right now. He sees himself teeing it up on Thursday at least. So barring any major setback, let's hope for the best. And we will see Tiger Woods back in action for the first time in over 500 days. Last time we saw him was at the 2020 November Masters. And here we are, April 2022, just about 14 months following his accident down in Southern California, ready to compete again on the PGA Tour. And he feels like he can win. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the 2022 Masters.
Let's go. All signs are pointing to Tiger's ready too. The game's there.
It's looking like it. And I want to get this one off the board right away. Mr. G, comment on the shoes you've been seeing him wearing.
Yeah, I was going to say FootJoys for the first time since what year, D?
Or maybe even the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that a company like Nike can fail arguably one of the top 3 greatest athletes of all sports, and they can't support him, especially in a time like this. Tiger's shoes been around forever, but in terms of like adapting and actually evolving as a athletic shoe, you haven't seen much updates over the year. The silhouette's been similar. So, FootJoy, that's a huge win for them. I got to be honest, those shoes aren't that comfortable. I've tried them on. So that was kind of shocking for me on a personal level. But I mean, you got to give it to kudos to a Cushnet and FootJoy. Like, hats off. That's amazing.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, they're stable, they're supportive, but they certainly aren't comfortable. Like, I wouldn't think that's the first choice to walk 72 holes in, but they must be doing something right for Mr. Woods.
Yeah, he must be wearing basically like pillowed socks. The ankle like support / like comfort is basically a 0 on a 10 scale. It's not there. It's not there.
Well, I mean, you got to think that the low top Nike shoes that are, basically basketball shoes with spikes, they just can't be that supportive, and he needs something at least on his right foot right now that's going to keep him in form and intact. And hey, we're just glad to see him out there walking. He's looked great walking all over the practice area. Any clips that we have seen him walking on the course in his first 2 9-hole practice rounds on Sunday and Monday. We didn't get much footage of him last Tuesday when he first visited Augusta. And I don't know about you guys, but a week ago today, when he first arrived at Augusta, I was thinking there's a pretty good chance he's going to be playing, but we still didn't know. Obviously, when he showed up on Sunday, that was a good indication. He looked great. He was smiling. I started to feel a little bit better about it. And then we get the news today that he's 100% planning on teeing it up. Where were you guys kind of standing over the last week and maybe even before Tuesday? What were you guys' thoughts on where he was at?
I've been thinking he was going to play for a while.
I think absolutely.
Just all the speculation that's been coming out. I mean, when he started walking medalist, that's definitely when I turned the corner of like, he's ramping up to play.
Isn't it just amazing?
I mean, to be honest, I didn't think he was going to play. Like, I thought he'd, go out, do the practice round, and then last second just say, you know what, I'm not going to do it. But the fact he makes it that much better in my book. And I love the way he did it as well. Like, if he doesn't win that bonus, just surely off this, like, come on. Like, this is going to have more viewership than like the Super Bowl. Like, watch. Just watch.
He is the entire storyline. Like, Golf Channel the other day, the camera did not change from him for like 30 minutes. At least, maybe like 45. Like, literally didn't. Nobody else.
I mean, he gets a lot of attention just on the practice screen and the practice area. The crowds on the first tee for a Monday practice round were unfathomable. We heard it was said it looked like a Saturday or Sunday final group, but it was just a practice round on Monday. One thing to note was he came out to the putting green and there was a full crowd around him as security guards had to clear the way and say, "Excuse me, player coming through." And it was Hideki Matsuyama, defending champion, and people weren't even turning their heads for him because Tiger was on the green. I mean, all due
Jeez.
respect to the defending champion and Hideki, but you just kind of see the difference that Tiger Woods makes on the PGA Tour and for the game in general.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, still watching that hike to the 18th hole, some odd years back, after all he's been through, to this day is one of the most epic, sports moment in my mind that I can ever think of. Like, I watched that and just get chills. Like, could you imagine the emotion he was feeling, let alone just people who have been following him for years and just being a sheer fan? Like, oh man, what an awesome story. And the coolest part is it doesn't sound like it's over. And for us golf fanatics, it's exciting. Very exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, fanboy or not, just respecting the game. I mean, he deserves all the credit for turning golf into what it has become in the last 20 years. Interestingly enough, it's 25 years since his first Masters win in 1997. So we have that to look forward to this weekend. I think he's got a consecutive streak of 22 made cuts at Masters. So that's something to look forward to as well. See how he plays on Thursday and Friday. Gee, this is one for you. He's paired up with Louis Oosthuizen and Joaquin Niemann. I cannot wait to see how that group shakes out. And we got a lot of great threesomes coming out this week. I mean,
Wait, that's Thursday?
Friday, he's paired with Louis and Waco.
Wow, that fires me up. That means Louis will have a lot of coverage.
Oh,
Awesome.
absolutely. You're going to see a lot of Louis these first two rounds at least.
You think they're going to get him? Huh?
I mean,
if
we'll see. I mean, if he goes first round, I'm proud of him. He's going to do good. So it's a great pick.
That has to be in the first three picks as well. So that would be interesting. That's a storyline to watch for. We do know who the first pick is in because Joe has the first pick. He's already submitted his order. So we'll get to that a little bit later. I personally kind of thought that, Charlie would be up for the par 3 contest to do that with him, but I'm not even sure if Tiger's participating in the par 3. It sounds like maybe not from what I've been hearing. But as soon as I heard him say that his kids will be up for the weekend, I knew it was on. They're back at school, understandably. They're still in middle school, I believe, and Charlie maybe even younger than middle school age. But as soon as he said they'll be up for the weekend, that gave me every indication that he's sticking around and he plans to be there to play it out. But also, right before he went on to his press conference today, he was on Sirius XM on Masters Radio, and he gave a little nod to the host saying, "You'll hear in my press conference about his decision whether he's going to play or not." And he smiled at the host and winked. And that tweet went out right as he was jumping into his press conference. So that was big news. I mean, right after 11 a.m. this morning, getting that notification, I think it popped up in 3 different push notifications on my phone. Tiger Woods makes his decision, and I jumped all over that. So very exciting news today. I figured it was coming, but still just good to see him say it for sure. And he's been striping it all over the range. I mean, his practice sessions have looked so good. I've heard multiple stories about easy birdies in his 9-hole practice rounds, and his driving average today, his 271 ball speed with the driver with about, I want to say 15 to 20 strikes today. He was carrying at an average of 291, and that's with purposely, throttling it back a little bit with a couple of, he teed it up like you would tee up a 3-wood, a couple drivers that he was just kind of fairway finding, I think, that were carrying about 280. And I saw some get up to 274 or 174 ball speed and carrying 300 yards. So everything's there. I mean, we saw in the PNC, obviously a totally different course, but his irons, his wedges, his putting, it's all there. It looks like the driver and the ball speed's there too. Why not another run? I mean, just because he hasn't played in a professional tournament in a while, I think that's the biggest question is, can he walk the 72 holes comfortably? And is the tournament, gamesmanship going to be there? Because otherwise he's Tiger Woods. There's no reason to doubt that he can contend in this Masters. And we're just going to have to see where he is come Friday evening, if he's making the cut or not. What do you guys think? Is he making the cut 23 straight?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, right?
Yep.
There's
Dude,
no
it's
No
reason
one of
doubt.
to
the biggest cuts to make too. Like the back, like 25% of the field is all past champions, so you pretty much have no chance. And then there's like amateurs in the field, like random qualifiers from like I guess like the Latin America amateur and the Asian amateur both come, right?
Yeah, there's
Uh,
multiple amateurs from their respective regions.
Yeah,
And you're right. There's 91 players in the field, and top 65 in ties make the weekend. So there's very good odds that he would. And just from what I'm hearing about his game, his ability to get on greens and make putts, it sounds like he's got just as good a chance to win as he does making the cut. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be paying close attention. I know he goes off at about 10:43, I want to say is the correct time on Thursday morning, and then he'll have a later tee time on Friday around 1:40 or 1:50. So he'll be, one of the last groups coming in on Friday evening before the cut. It's going to be a storyline no matter what, whether he's well clear or he's battling to make it. They're going to be talking about Tiger Woods. And as G said, there will be a lot of coverage, which is good for him to be watching Louis. Obviously, a lot of history at Augusta, lots to be said for it. I mean, Bobby Jones created the place. Now we have Chairman Ridley running it. I think he's been doing a great job. The last 3 years, we've had the Augusta National Women's Amateur there. I want to shout out Anna Davis, the 16-year-old from San Diego. Shout out the California kid. She deserves all the credit, and she's going to be playing in the Women's U.S. Open next year. So lot to look forward to for Anna Davis. Well-deserving champion. I would love to see what else she earns with that win there at Augusta. How cool is it just to be a winner at Augusta in any aspect, but let alone we have the par 3 coming up tomorrow. Always fun to see who goes off for that. Lots of birdies to be made in the par 3s. We usually see a few aces. One thing I haven't heard of in the practice rounds so far, and obviously not many practice rounds went out today, so maybe tomorrow, but I haven't heard of anyone making any aces in the practice rounds on 16. And I haven't seen any videos of the skip shots on that hole either. Have you guys heard anything about that?
I
No.
saw some videos of the skip shots, but
I think Kevin Na and his group did one.
yeah, there was a few, and then there was like I saw a lineup of like 4 or 5 people doing it at once. Was that the Kevin Na group?
Yeah, Kevin Na had a couple guys around him. Maybe another group did the same. But usually someone gets pretty close with the skip shot. It's always fun to see. John Rahm famously skipped one in. I think it was his birthday the day he did in his practice round, which means he probably is celebrating a recent birthday. Happy birthday, John Rahm, if that's true. But it's always fun. This is the Masters. It's going to be great. I love how they tie in the family aspect on the par 3 on Wednesday. Really looking forward to paying a little bit more attention to that. I know Rory committed to that. Jordan Spieth said him and his new son Sammy will be out there tomorrow. So Sammy's a little too young to be gripping a golf club and playing, but he'll be out there, get a little bit of his debut into the public eye. Excited for that. But just a great time. I mean, it's the Masters. It's the best tournament of the year. It's the most fun. It's the most prestigious. It's the most rewarding for these guys. I cannot wait to get this thing started. I think there's a lot we can talk about as far as the field. But what do you guys say? I think we get into the picks and we can kind of take our time going through the picks and talking about these players as we make the picks rather than, building up to the picks and flying through it a little bit more. What do you think?
Yeah.
That works.
All right. Well, without further ado, we're getting started with the Masters. We do things a little bit differently for the majors. We pick 5 and it's worth double the points on the season standings. So instead of 5, 3, 1, and 0, it's going to be 10, 6, 2, and 0. Look out for that as we move on through the first major of the year. Joe is kicking us off. I'm going to have to pull up his list here in a second, but I know his first pick, and that's going to be the Bay Area / Dallas kid, only right for Mr. Joe to pick, has a pretty good record in his only start at Augusta, Mr. Will Zalatoris coming off the board first. How about that?
Yeah. It's not surprising, Joe loves Will Zalatoris and, Team Titleist. That's my input there.
Yeah, Team Titleist.
Did he finish T2 last year or the year before?
I believe it was last year in the 2021. Was he
Yep.
T2 or solo 2?
It was
he
solo
definitely
second.
could have been solo.
Yeah, and then Spieth finished T3 or solo 3 last year. The Spieth, I'll definitely talk about Spieth when we get to him, whoever makes that selection. But there's a lot of good things to say with Spieth and Augusta. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to give anything away before we get to that pick. But coming off the board at number 2, I do have the second selection, and I am honored and grateful and thankful. And before I go any further, we talked about the top 4 in the power rankings could go 1 through 4, and we're going to get through 2 picks without any of them going. I am so happy to announce for the first time in 19th Fairway history, Mr. Eldrick Taunt Woods, Tiger Woods, coming off the board at number 2. Let's go. We're back.
I mean, I'm not surprised at all.
Tiger
I mean, I'm a little surprised, but I totally understand it and get it.
Tiger around Augusta. I mean, no one knows it better. 5 green jackets, looking for a 6th. I fully believe he can do it. I'm taking him easily. I was a little worried Joe was going to take him. And you know what? As soon as he said Zali, I said, lock it in. I'm going Tiger.
Love it. Love
Gotta
it.
respect it. Dang, does that leave me next?
Willie up
Yes,
3.
sir.
I'm taking John Rahm. Just
Easily.
4 straight top 10s. The guy absolutely kills it at Augusta. He's due for a win here.
Just watch out for that top side spin and then hitting off the tree and going to the woods for the double bogey on like 7.
Yeah. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
No, I think if he is celebrating a birthday, happy birthday again. John Rahm, ASU guy. Shout out the Sun Devils. Always love John Rahm. Hoping for a good week for him. He deserves to contend at Augusta, and I think no better time than now. That leaves G with the 4th pick and the final pick in the first round at this Masters.
We know who this is going to be.
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it be?
Interesting. I mean, I'm torn between 2 players, actually 3, but really just 2. You know, I got to go with my guy and trust him. He looks good. He's with Tiger out there. I'm going with my boy JT, Mr. Justin Thomas.
An interesting segue just between those last 2 picks. Did you guys see Rahm's quote today?
Yeah, I did.
Someone asked Rahm if he's gotten any advice from Tiger, and he said, you better ask Justin Thomas about that one, because every time I've asked, he hasn't given me anything.
Love it.
So JT's got the only inside scoop on tour about Augusta from the GOAT himself.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine JT has a good week this week. I mean, he's done well at Augusta. I don't know if you saw some of his previous stats there, but he's in form. He's due. He's itching for another major. That's for sure. I gotta throw this in there. Since Rory, JT, or Spieth, I mean, you think about the top players in the world, especially in the last 5-10 years, you usually think about Rory, JT, Spieth pretty easily, pretty quick. Since any of the 3 of them have won a major, both Tiger and Phil have both won majors. I mean, great players in their own respect, and they've been around a long time, but it's kind of amazing to think that Tiger and Phil have won majors more recently than Rory, JT, or Spieth.
That's crazy. Truly is. Shows how hard it is to win that major.
It's a shocker stat, but it also shows what it does to, or what it means to be a veteran, you know, especially at a course like Augusta. It can play and factor into these majors. It's a different stage, a lot more pressure.
I think you're absolutely right, and it backs up my Tiger selection at number 2. I gotta say, he knows the course so well. If he can win again, why not at Augusta? I really hope we get to see him play at least 3 more times after this week this year. If it's only the 4 majors, I'll be happy with that this year. There was a lot of speculation that he wouldn't play at all in 2022, so I'll take 4 majors any day. But that brings us back to the top, Mr. Joe. And based off his selections, he will be picking a 4-time major winner, no wins at the Masters, and no British Opens. But he does have 2 US Opens and 2 PGA championships. He could have easily been selected on that list of Spieth, Rory, and JT I just mentioned, but he did win the PGA right after Tiger won the Masters. None other than Brooks Koepka, who does seem to be returning to form. He seems to be playing pretty well, and I think he's deserving of the top power ranking spot, which they've got him in right now.
Yeah, I mean, the guy comes to play in majors. He's going to contend. I think he likes the money. And will the real Slim Shady please stand up, Mr. Brooks? I got a good feeling about him this week for some fucking reason.
Yeah. I do too. And I kind of love the bleach tips.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
It sucks that Joe is going by the power rankings. I don't think he would have taken him there. I think Brooks would still be on the board if Joe wasn't on auto draft.
Does that mean 100%. That you had your eyes on him, Mr. Willie?
I mean, I'd take him for my squad for sure. It's crazy to think he's got like 4 majors, and a lot of the other golfers have a lot less that get talked about more prominently. Like he's got trophies.
4 majors is not easy to do. I mean, Rory's got 4 majors. He just hasn't won one in 8 years now.
Yeah. They have
8 years. Wow. Yeah.
Since 2014.
Early for him.
And that's kind of seems the same way as Brooks. So Brooks got to get another one, or else he falls into that trap that Rory did pretty quickly. I mean, it's been 3 years now, so we'll see. I do think that there's a good chance for Brooks this week. He seems to be pulling it all together, but this is one of the best fields all year in terms of, the best players all at the same time. Like you said, Willie, there are a lot of past champions and amateurs that don't really have a chance at contending, but it just makes it more fun, and it's great tradition. We'll see. I do like Brooks though. And without further ado, we knew this was coming. I said I was going to talk about him. I am going to take Jordan Spieth with my second pick. And just in the stretch of, I think he's got 5 top 3 finishes in his 8 attempts at the Masters. There was a stretch where in those 5 top 3s, only 6 players have finished better than him in 5 attempts at the Masters. So I do like the way Jordan Spieth is able to think his way around Augusta. It's not a power hitter's course, so he doesn't have to be the longest and straightest off the tee. He's able to work the ball. And most importantly, you got to have a good short game at Augusta, which I think we all know Jordan Spieth has. I just get excited to watch him at this place. He is such a good player when you get to around the green and his putting. He alluded to it this week at his press conference. He said last week he was having a trouble getting the ball to the hole at the Valero Texas Open, where you kind of had the opposite problem here at Augusta. So I think Jordan Spieth is going to be putting a little bit better than he was last week. And that's kind of an understatement because it was one of his worst weeks putting on tour in his career. So all he has to do is be a little bit better than that. He's going to get the ball to the green and he's going to put it in the hole, and he's going to have another top finish at Augusta. Book it right now. Jordan Spieth is my second pick.
Lock it in.
Well, what? He's like 1 hole away from having 2 of those green jackets.
Literally just the 12th hole in 2016. Gosh.
Yeah. I mean, his stats are up there with the best since like 2015 or 14 or whatever. So worthy of any round pick.
Absolutely. Let's see where Willie decides to go with this one.
That leaves me pretty pumped. This guy's still on the board and I'm able to get him in the second round, but going with Cam Smith.
Okay.
The guy is just playing fantastic golf. First off, has played extremely well at Augusta, has a bunch of top 10 finishes. I think he's got either a solo second or like T2, I think in the year that DJ won 2020. So I think he's a pretty no-brainer pick and definitely one of the favorites to win this week.
Absolutely. I would agree. I see where Joe's next pick will be, unless Mr. G decides to take him right now.
Yeah, not happening. Congrats to the champ himself, but not going to be on G's team this week. Gosh, Willie, you stole my second pick. I was so excited he stuck around, but
Same.
It is what it is. Dang. I need to be more prepared. I gotta just get my guy, lock him in. Defending champion, Mr. Strawberry Shortcake himself, Matsuyama Hideki, my guy. Again,
Wow.
I have faith in the boy. I think he comes back and his caddy gets a second bow. How
Yeah.
epic would that be?
You don't see
I
a lot of
love
defending
Hideki.
champions, but there have been a couple. Obviously, Tiger 2001, 2002. I don't think anyone since then has repeated, but we did see Bubba in 2 out of 3 years with a nice sandwich between Adam Scott in 2013. Yeah, I don't think anyone has repeated since Tiger in the early 2000s. So we might be due, Mr. G. We might be getting another strawberry shortcake next year at the Champions Dinner.
Dude,
I'm looking for cuts made.
shout out Hideki with one of the most fire Champions Dinner menus ever.
That was
So good.
unbelievable. I tried my best to replicate it this evening. We went with the ribeye instead of the A5 Wagyu from Miyazaki, but hey, we did our best. We got a strawberry shortcake in there. We had some sushi rolls as an appetizer.
Fire.
Delicious meal. We
Nice.
were missing the cod, but like I said, you can only do so much. Absolutely phenomenal selection from Mr. Hideki Matsuyama, defending champion himself. I did think it was interesting how, well deserving. You may never win another Masters. Go all out. Pick what you want. Absolutely. And then you think about
Yeah.
Bubba Watson's selection. He did like grilled chicken and corn and potatoes. Like, what are you doing? I mean,
Weak palate. He's got that G palate.
Hey, it was probably the finest grilled chicken and corn ever. Let me
Dude,
tell you, it's probably
what would you choose as your meal?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I'd probably go basically the most prime cut of filet there is with some home style Southern mac and cheese, easy. Probably some green beans. Dang, have to throw in some twice baked potatoes.
Yeah.
And then dessert, it would be some form of a s'mores like cookie pie thing. I don't know exactly. It might be a cake too, but
Or Vicky
Yeah.
Link's chicken parmesan.
oh,
that could be it too. I'm not gonna lie.
Willie, what are you thinking? What's your Masters meal?
I don't know. It'd be tough. I'd really have to think about it, but I just
My
like so
mom's-
many different food groups. Like, I don't know if it has to all be in sync, but I might just take a little bit of like every food group.
Absolutely.
Chicken parmesan.
Dude, I like so many types of food. It'd be really hard for me to choose like one dinner menu.
Is there one thing that stands out that you're just like, I would absolutely have this on my menu?
Honestly, no.
Wow.
I mean, I'd have to have like some sort of like pizza or like appetizer of that of some sort. Like, I just love pizza and Italian food, but I don't want to just like throw out a meal of like pizza and pasta. I want to be more
Yeah.
Well, you can do what you want.
sophisticated with that. So
It's your choice. It's your meal. I'm thinking I would definitely have some sashimi as an appetizer, but also I'm throwing in the seafood chowder from Pacific Dunes Grill, Pack Grill. That's easily coming aboard. I think a good old ribeye is included. I like cheese cob of macaroni. Try to keep it a nice surf and turf style selection. So maybe there's a little lobster in there as well. And then no one's gonna know this dessert besides us. But gee, do you remember the like brownie peanut butter Hershey's pudding pie that we made at your house with me? I have a picture of it. I'm gonna have to send it to you. But this thing was unbelievable. We made brownies and we threw some peanut butter in there, some marshmallow, and some Hershey. So it was like a s'mores peanut butter brownie. And that was one of the most unbelievable desserts I've ever had. Shout out to us for coming up with it, but that's going on the menu.
That's unbelievable, D. I honestly do not remember that, but I'm kind of upset I don't. That sounds top of the line good.
I bet you if you ask Mr. Nee about it, he'll remember right away.
Oh,
We were
yeah.
loving that thing. But that's going on there.
hilarious.
The master chefs are going to be like, what are we doing here? But you know what? Everyone's got to try it once.
Yep, I agree.
So back to the top for the third round, Mr. Joe sneaking away with the world number one in the third round, the ninth pick, Scottie Shepherd coming off the board with 3 wins already this year, 3 big wins. I mean, these are all full field events, like the Arnold Palmer, the Waste Management, and then the WGC Match Play, all big time wins. I think I heard Spieth saying this earlier that Scottie probably didn't even care about, what it meant to be world number one when he was playing the Match Play. He was just focused on got to win this match, got to win the next match, got to win the next match. And he's playing the best golf in the world right now, deserving that number one spot. I will say a lot of people probably want validation from him in winning a major now that he is the world number one. Yet to do that, of course, but he does have 3 wins in his last 5 starts. This will be his 6th. Let's see if he can get a 4th win and his first major. Scottie Scheffler to Mr. Joe.
Wow. I mean, yeah, can't hate on that pick at all. Just, I don't know, just doesn't have the feel like he's going to win the Masters. I have no reasoning behind that, just kind of how it feels, but also wouldn't be surprised if he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, but it's almost like too good to be true, right? Like, you don't just win 4 times in 6 starts, do you? 3 and 5 is already impressive enough, but to back up his number 1 world ranking by winning the Masters would certainly put him far and beyond the next best guy in John Rahm. We'll see, though. I still like John Rahm's chances.
Yep.
So I am going to round out my big 3 here just because I have the opportunity and I want to see this dude win a green jacket, help him win the career Grand Slam. Roy McIlroy. I'm taking him.
Oh, I wish Joe was here right now.
He'd be hating on it, but I'd be still taking him.
Hating. I would love for him to get the career Grand Slam, but he's just another one of those players. When he shows up to the Masters, you just feel like he has no chance to win.
Maybe so, but he's my guy. That's my big 3 right there. I couldn't be happier to have them all on my master sheet right now. So
yeah, that's pretty incredible that you do have your big 3
right there. And I mean, I would have taken Scheffler probably, but if Roy's there, I got to take him.
Yeah.
That leaves your boy. Taking a previous Masters champion. Gonna take Adam Scott.
Love it.
He's just in form right now, and
Really?
he's just a ridiculous iron player. Great at Augusta. I was listening to Stevie Williams' podcast recently. He's putting a bet on Adam Scott to win because he thinks he's playing so well right now, and he's
Williams is.
Yeah, and he's only bet 2 other times. One time for Ian Baker Finch to win a major of some sort, and he won. And then another time for Tiger to win. I forget what year it was. It was at St. Andrews in the Open, and Tiger won that one too. So this is Stevie Williams' 3rd bet ever. It's on Adam Scott. He's about to go 3 for 3.
Wow, that is an incredible story. I mean, you heard it live from him on the podcast. He could go 3 for 3 in all-time lifetime bets. That's shit. I wish I was only 2 for 2 so far. That's unbelievable. The only outright champ I've ever guessed is Colin Morikawa. And I still feel really good about that, but I've made a lot more than 3 lifetime bets. So we will see, but it's a great person to back. Obviously they have the Aussie connection. I fully support the Adam Scott pick, especially in the 3rd round. You got two of the top Aussies with you right now, plus the former number 1 player in the world. Will, you got to be feeling pretty good with where you're at through 3 rounds.
Yeah, all international teams so far.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Adam Scott going, quick. Always will be my guy, but good pick, Willie. I'd love to see him win, even though I don't want to see you win. I'm joking. Not really though. All right. So 3rd pick. I can't let him go one more round because if Will Dog gets him in the 4th round, I'll be pissed. And I think he secretly wants him. I'm going Mr. Oosthuizen himself, Louis.
I love the pick, G.
I would have definitely considered him next time around. I love the pick.
Yeah, he's just he's Mr. Consistent. If he doesn't get a top 10, I know he's making the weekend cut, and I know he'll be up there at the end of the tournament. So I would love to see him win. Could it happen? Yes. We'll see if it does.
Well, going on to the fourth round. And G, I do want to say, like, Louis, the career runner-up slam, deserves his major. He deserves his moment. I'm always rooting for Louis, right? I mean, how can you not? If it's not going to be one of my guys, why not Louis? Let's get him up there again. I want to see this run that he's been on continue. Bring back Louis, who stays into contention. Let's see it right now at the Masters. And shout out that, was it 2012 Albatross on the second hole?
Incredible. Just
Legendary.
what a shot.
Probably one of the best shots in Masters history. I mean, really, though, it's got to be up there in the conversation for top 5 all time at Augusta.
I'm taking that over a hole-in-one there any day ever. That's just amazing.
Has anybody else ever albatross that hole?
I don't think anyone's ever albatross number 2 besides Louis.
Dude, yeah.
Wow.
That's
People
all
have
right.
been close. I mean, obviously, there's the shot is there, and when the pin position's in that back right corner, it slopes that way. People have come close, but to actually make it is another story. And I think he did finish pretty high that week too, if I remember right. That might have been his runner-up finish.
Wow.
But on to the fourth round, Joe's selection. I hope he's happy about this one. You know, whether he appreciates the Koepka pick or not, and that one pays out for him. He is a big fan of this guy. He's also a Masters champion. He was at the dinner tonight, and he is returning to form a little bit. Mr. Dustin Johnson, ready to come back strong at Augusta in 2022. We shall see.
Yes, sir.
Joe's pumped about that one, probably.
I think so. He's got to be, right? I mean, bring back DJ. He's been a little bit more fun to watch lately, I think. So we'll see. I do want to see. You never count a guy out. I've never been the biggest DJ fan. I think he's always just a little bit too quiet, not enough emotion. It's pretty much the complete opposite of a Spieth, where I love that Spieth gets so into it and he's talking the whole time. And that's kind of what I feed off of when I'm watching a player. So DJ just never has done that for me. But we'll see. I don't really like to root against him as much as I don't really root for him. But Joe, big fan, both tall, lengthy guys. So we'll see. Mr. DJ is off the board. And that leaves me with my fourth selection. I'm going with a guy who is so close to world number 1. He's a 2-time major champion. He's 25 or younger. I don't even know if he's turned 25 yet. But Mr. Colin Morikawa, the California kid, very interesting interview session the other day. He had some pretty weird questions asked of him. I'll leave that to you guys to go listen to for yourself. But Colin Morikawa, one of the best iron players, obviously has a pretty sharp short game. I'm counting on that this week. Like I said, you don't need to be one of the longest hitters here. We're into the fourth round, and I haven't seen Bryson selected. Obviously, he's got the risk going on. I think he even said he's at 80%. We'll see if he gets picked in this group. But, I mean, come on, with the par 67 talk last year, just based on how far he hit the ball, that was pretty asinine. And I'm taking the iron striker over the long bomb and Colin Morikawa here.
Yep, can't go wrong with that pick. If he's lining it up on the greens, he's got as good a chance as anybody.
Would love to see him get a Masters and get 3/4 of the way through the career Grand Slam so early.
All right, I believe that leaves me. I'm gonna go with a guy that shows up in majors, doesn't always come through. G would call him a choke artist, which he may be, but as long as he's in contention at the end, should help my team out. I'm gonna go with Mr. Xander Schauffele.
I love it. Xander.
Pretty much all I gotta say about him.
Yeah, he'll be there in the end. He just probably won't get it done, but smart pick. Smart pick point wise, for sure. For
He
sure.
needs a major. To talk about a guy that needs a major, it's Xander, coming off the gold medal, but he was probably going to catch a decky at the end last year if he didn't double boat, or was it even a triple on 16?
Too bad. He choked again. He literally
Pretty sure he tripled. In 16 with the Sunday pin look, isn't it like that funnel pin? Like
Yeah.
That's
You
one of
just
the
got to get
easiest
out
holes.
right. He tried to go at it when you just got to get it out right and let it fall down. But I will say, if he doesn't triple that hole, I probably don't come away with the Masters last year. Mr. Joe probably would have won. Instead, my selections got it done. Spieth with the T3 finish last year helped a lot. So always root for Xander, though. California kid. I like them. He's also very close to our age. I think he graduated college the year before our class. I got nothing to hate on Xander for. I want him to do well. I'm really liking the look of Willie's squad so far, and I'll just have to see what happens. But we're getting close, and I'm just so excited for this.
Dude, my squad is stacked.
It's
It's all right. It's probably about a couple points less good than my squad, but that's we'll let the tournament talk for itself. Fourth pick. Again, I got the guy who has access to Tiger's knowledge with Justin Thomas. Now I'm going Mr. Florida boy, Mr. Gator. None only other than Mr. Billy Horschel himself. He gave Tiger his wedges to use. That means Tiger gave him some of his powers. I'm thinking probably top 5 finish. And again, he's an emotional player. I think if he stays focused and he stays top 20, you never know. But again, point wise, I think Horschel can get me through the weekend.
If you get a top 5 finish from your 4th round selection, you got to be loving it. And I think, honestly, all 4 of ours have every opportunity to do so. DJ Morikawa, Xander, and Horschel. Why wouldn't any of them contend and get a top 5 finish? So we are on to the final round here. Lots of good names still out there, it looks like. And I'm just only really looking at the power rankings. I haven't even gone over to the actual odds for the week. Let's see if I can find anything last minute. But Mr. Joe, with his final pick, based on his ask, is going to be taking Lord Terrell, who is T8 in par 5 scoring and tops the tour in strokes gained putting percentage inside of 10 feet. So
wait, no, isn't he taking Fitzpatrick?
Yeah. Fitz.
Oh, you're right. Fitz is still in the top 10 available. All right.
Yeah.
I think he'll like that a little bit more than Terrell. So
yeah,
perfect in his last 6 appearances with a personal best T7 in 2016. Leads the PGA Tour in strokes gained, total with 4 top 10s in his last 5 starts in stroke play competitions. Obviously not counting in match play, but four top 10s in his last 5 starts. He's coming to the Masters feeling pretty good. Good catch there, Mr. G. Joe is going to be taking Matt Fitzpatrick. And this leaves me a little puzzled
about that pick.
Obviously, a pretty solid pick rounds out Joe's 5 selections there. Man, oof. Do I want to go with the guy that I want, or do I go with the guy that I think has been playing just a little bit better? They're only separated by 1 on these power rankings. Oof.
Hey, go with who you want.
I am going to, and I think I knew that already. So I'm going to take the former 2021 Player of the Year, Patrick Cantley. He's only posted 2 top 20s in his career at Augusta, but he is just a great overall player in all aspects of the game. He's the Player of the Year last year. Bring it all together one time for Augusta. I saw him talking to Tiger a little bit. Obviously, everyone's going to say hi to Tiger, but maybe he got a little of those juices as well. Patrick Cantley is rounding out my selection. Come on, kid.
Yeah.
Good team, D. Good team.
Can't hate
Well
on that
done.
pick at all. I mean, there was a point in time where he was he threatening number 1 in the world?
He must have been with the finish last year.
Yeah.
PGA Tour Player of the Year.
Yeah. That brings me, I'm gonna go with a guy who I guess hasn't been his best the last couple of years, has a newish caddy on the bag, but he's a 2-time past champ, and you gotta go with him. I'm gonna go with Bubba.
Wow, G is so
God,
pissed.
are you serious?
Needed a lefty on the squad. Can't have it
Oh my
without a lefty at Augusta. And
I gotta take him off my thing now. Oh, I did not see that coming.
Champ. I mean, I'm definitely going with who I want versus who's in form right now. But I got all the confidence in the world at Bubba to at least compete at Augusta.
Don't look too far past Robert McIntyre. I'm telling you, the lefty on the squad is a good call. Willie nailed it.
D, I would rather pick Gooch.
I wouldn't blame you for that pick either. Although he did show up to the practice.
Bubba. I knew it.
Did you hear?
Gosh, when you
Gooch on
said
Monday?
2-time, I was like, no.
He knew it right away.
Oh my gosh. Adam Scott, You took, oh man.
Cam
Who am I
Smith
with?
and Bubba.
Yeah, this might as well be Team G besides Xander and Rom.
Oh
And G
my
would pick Rom
goodness.
too, actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, that just really just hate to see it. Wow. Okay. I am going with this could be risky. No, I can't go him. He's not good. Hold on.
Come on.
Sorry, dude. All right, you know what? I'm going with him just because he's a good time every time he actually wins. Number 15 on the PGA Power Rankings, Mr. Shane Lowry.
He's playing well right now. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I thought about picking him and Sungjae.
I'll trade you Bubba for him.
No, I could have gotten him if I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Now all we are looking at is players that we are not selecting. A couple I got to name. I really thought Corey Connors would have went in this group. I think Joe probably would like to switch him out for Koepka, but he's been on fire. I mean, the third place finish at the match play, a lot of really high finishes so far this year. He's definitely due for a contention this week at Augusta. Also, I really like Seamus Power. He's really finding his form, the Irishman. Anyone else stick out to you that we missed?
Sungjae.
Sung Jae is
Yeah.
a great choice.
That's
Abe
about it.
Answer, Joe probably would have thought of. He wasn't
I
on
mean,
power.
Hovland, it's hard to look over Hovland. I know he doesn't have the best short game right now, but he's hitting it as good as anybody. And he's like top 5 in the world, isn't he, or something? Top
He's
6.
up there. Yeah. I think he was number 3 not too long ago. So he's
Yeah,
got to
so
be
it's
up
hard.
there.
Hard to look past him. Hard to look past Leash. The guy does good at Augusta. Has got a wicked short game. Patrick Reed, defending champ. Sam Burns, he's been in form as well.
Sam Burns, definitely a selection that could have been made this week.
Neiman. So the field is just stacked. It's hard to even put a team of 5.
Even with a team of 5, we missed some great players. And I'm sure one of the names we just called out will be up there on Sunday afternoon. But I just can't wait. I mean, geez, we got 4 absolutely electric, completely just draw you in, make you want to watch it all. Rounds coming up live from Augusta. We are back. It's major season, boys. We've made it all the way. Long time since July over across the pond. The Ryder Cup kept us going. The Hero World Challenge brings us back. The PNC Championship, father-son, drew a lot of attention in December. Then we moved quickly over to Hawaii. Obviously, Cam Smith shocked the world with his 34 birdies in 1 week. By the way, quick update. I think I'm at like 26 and we're at the beginning of April. So moving quickly towards that number. Got to keep that one honest.
You play golf like every day.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm trying as much as I can. I got to get that 34 number ASAP. But really, though, I'm really enjoying the new T100Ss and the TSI 3. Got to finish out the bag with Scottie. And then the 3-wooder hybrid, maybe a driving iron. So 3 clubs to replace left to make it the total Titleist setup. But we are loving it so far. The irons and the driver have been great, treating me very well. I did play 9 holes on Saturday where I hit all 7 fairways. Was absolutely loving that. Unfortunately, only hit 3 of the 9 greens. Somehow that happens. But we're on to Augusta, first major of the year. Already been an exciting 2022. We have a 3-time winner in Mr. Scottie Shepherd, the new world number 1. A couple of repeat winners already as well. So stay tuned. Augusta coming to you live. We are back. Tiger Woods is back. Welcome back. And we cannot wait to get this thing started Thursday morning. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Go Big Cat.